number 25, Kevin Stevens.
We're all going to have choices in life. 28 years old, never did a drug in my life. Someone handed me something. So one 30-second decision I made changed the past of my life. For the next 24 years, my life went like this, slowly, painfully. Like I sat with you guys all for a long time, guys, and sat there and say it's never going to be me, you know? Now I'm sitting here talking to you guys because it was me.
I know how those people feel because I've been in those situations where I've been stuck, and when you're in it, you can't see it. It's very hard, it's a very difficult thing, addiction and substance abuse, and people need help, and we have to get out there and kind of educate people and try to do the best we can to help them.
Welcome to Crosscheck. My name is Kevin Stevens, and here we are. I guess here we are. We're on TV now, so it's kind of
scary.
You know, our radio and our podcast can see on TV, which is kind of new to us. So we're all here, and we got a great guest. First guest here is our boy Derek Sanderson. So I'll turn it over to my buddy Andy. We'll go from there.
Well, I thank you, Kevin. Yeah, it's definitely scary that we're on TV now. So we all have to be on really good behavior.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because people can see us, you know.
Yeah.
No faces, no nothing. Just
now they can see you.
Focused. We're going to be focused. And for those of you who are not familiar with Crosscheck, we are a weekly program that is dedicated to discussion of substance abuse. Each show we try to harness the power of personal stories and share information on local resources with the goal of ending the stigma around addiction. And ultimately, our hope is that we'll help people not feel so alone, encourage folks to reach out for help. But before we get started with our in-studio guest, Derek Sanderson, we got to welcome our panel and our newest member of the team. Newest panelist, the great, the one, the only, Alex Bazanson.
Yeah.
He's a local businessman and a community leader and philanthropist in Abington. He founded the Abington Substance Awareness Coalition and the Hug Foundation with his lovely wife, Lisa. How is everybody?
Yeah, everyone's good.
Everyone's fine.
All right.
Everyone's fine now.
Yeah.
We even have an in-studio audience. How about that?
Yes.
Woo.
And we will have a live studio audience every week.
Yeah, 460 people.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jam them in here.
Get your tickets now.
That's right.
There we go.
I had to run.
There they are.
I had to do it. Okay, so let's welcome our in-studio guest today, which is Boston Bruins legend Derek Sanderson. And like Kevin said, we are honored to have him as our first TV guest. And for those of you who don't remember, Derek began his career in 1967 with the Boston Bruins.
Long time ago.
I know, right? he was a key member.
We never even had helmets or masks or nothing.
Good stuff.
Right?
No equipment.
Right, real
When
men.
hockey was
Real men at that point.
Did everybody get so beat up? We decided
And you obviously had a larger-than-life persona, which ultimately led to some struggles with drugs and alcohol. And you've been in sobriety for 30-plus years.
Since 1980.
That's awesome.
December 19th.
And you have two sons, and you have a forthcoming film about your life coming up.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
So welcome to the show. And
Yeah, Turk.
Pleasure.
Welcome to the show,
Stephen.
bud. Yeah, awesome.
No problem.
Awesome to be here. And all right, let's just talk a little bit about hockey for a little bit here. Like you said, you grew up in Niagara Falls.
I grew up with a father that was a wonderful, wonderful guy. No pressure, no pushing, nothing like that. But a lot of encouragement. So I never really understood the pressure and the encouragement. But, shoot 300 pucks in a linoleum on a slab of wood in a driveway in the summertime. I looked like the village idiot. And all my buddies they laughed and went where they were down the swimming pool, wherever. But then again, I got out. They didn't.
Yeah, so you had a great junior career. So you had Memorial Cup there.
Well, I won the Memorial Cup.
Yeah, that's a big thing there, right?
Geez, we had a good team. We had Goldsworthy, Fonovo, Jean Fonovo.
Yeah.
Played in Pitt. We had Tommy Webster, Ricky Lee. We had just a lot of good players. I think 13 of them went to the National Hockey League within 2 years.
That's awesome. So after all that, you come to the Bruins in '67. After Bruins been pretty bad up to you got there in '66.
Yeah, Bobby
I think.
came in the year early.
Yeah.
He still missed the playoffs.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I told him. I said, well, you needed some help. Doesn't take kind of you to that.
It's true you had a little jam with Bobby too,
A couple.
Yeah, in the juniors, right?
Yeah.
That was interesting. I didn't know that. That was something I knew.
No,
a lot
that
about
was
you.
my father said when we were driving up. What we did is we had Weston Adams Sr., the owner of the Bruins. He was the scout. He was the one that beat the bushes all over Canada because there was no draft.
Yeah.
You were in the draft. There's no draft for us. So they bought me when I was 11, Bobby when he was 10. So Bobby got 800 and I got 100.
That's all right.
And my dad said,
caught
"Hey,
up.
son, it's 4 weeks pay." Wow. So, my dad says, "Listen," he pulled up and stopped the bus. We're pulling out. Stopped the bus. Got off work.
Yeah.
Just left work. Stopped the bus. Get my son. He called me out. He goes, "Derek, there's only 2 people that are going to know and remember. It's Bobby Orr and the one who beats him up."
Oh, that's good. That is the truth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you listen. You listen. That's a good thing.
I listen a lot. I was very coachable.
All right, so you get to Boston in '67, and how was your team? Like, how did you guys? Were you guys building the team?
We were building at the time.
Yeah.
Because they had missed the playoffs in the 6-team leagues. They missed the playoffs 6 times. Dead last 6 in a row. 6 out of the 5 of the 6. So they're rebuilding the team. But actually in '67, '68, the real team came. We got Donnie Ari, we got McKenzie, we got guys that filled the holes, and then they made that big switch trade with Chicago.
Yeah.
Just the trade of the century, Esposito would have been enough for who they gave up because nobody knows who they gave up.
Yeah. Espo was
one
big.
of those.
Yeah, he was big. So.
And then we just built the team from there. We had a great goaltender in Jerry Cheevers and Eddie Johnson, and away we went.
Yeah, good stuff. So you're so '70s. You know, that was awesome because I was born. I really was kind of young there, but I followed it, and you know the series would be the Rangers and those series are pretty good, Turk.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they burned me in effigy.
Yeah, I heard that.
They hung me up in the second balcony. I mean, a hockey uniform on, number 16, and some clown figured it was me smart, and he burned. He set it on fire. And all the people with their full coats down below, they're all burning. And so that wasn't my fault, but they did that.
Good stuff.
They reached up because the glass in those days never came as high.
Oh yeah.
Just covered the first 2 rows. I mean, the guy in the first row could peek over the glass.
Yeah.
And they would reach out and punch you right in the mouth. That guy hit me one time.
They don't do that anymore.
Oh, they don't do that. Nah.
That's why the glass goes all the way up.
That's why the glass went up. I had a time in New York, in that New York series where people went a little goofy, and there's a ring of cops holding all the people back from throwing stuff at us.
Oh yeah.
The one kid snuck through and tried to stab me with it, and I had my kind of a half-full garment bag, and the cop just cracked him, just dropped him like a stone. And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, thanks." He goes, "No, I think you're an ass too, but I'm just doing my job."
Yeah.
That's New York.
Yeah, that is New York.
I was in Pittsburgh when I played.
No, Pittsburgh.
I was a Penguin.
Yeah, I know you were a Penguin. Yeah,
I was a Penguin.
How long were you a Penguin for, Turk?
A year and a half. I don't know.
I saw that. Yeah.
You guys had some similar stops along the way.
Yeah.
Once you make the start, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You bounce around a lot.
Yeah. Once you get moving once, it doesn't stop sometimes.
There's no break anymore.
All right, so the big, we get to St. Louis. The Bees are playing St. Louis, so all we're hearing all this last 2 weeks or 10 days they've had off here is probably the one of the most memorable goals. Like for us to see, anybody, even if you're not a hockey fan, you see that picture and you see that, right?
Right. It is the most reproduced picture of the century.
Oh yeah, no question.
Like Farrah Fawcett's picture.
You think so?
Yeah, almost like that.
Yeah, with the
But
talking hockey here.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I know.
And
70s.
2 seconds.
Yeah, what you see in that play, Turk? How that all happen?
I missed it twice.
That's all right.
So I fired, hit the post, ran around the wall. Bobby jumped in, beat Ecclestone, jumped in, boom, threw it to me on the backhander, and broke. And Talbot, instead of taking Bobby, he went and took me, which
just to you, just feathered over to him. Nice little pass.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And then nothing happens. Like it's just normal goal, an everyday practice goal.
Yeah.
But the problem was that what was it, Picard?
Yeah.
Scooped up his feet.
Yeah.
And tripped him 2 seconds after. There's no penalty. Series is over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it to you next year. So
Yeah.
decided
But
to
that
rip his
made it
legs
famous.
off.
Yeah, that pitch is on all
And
my
that
wall.
That put him parallel with
Yeah.
the net, and people didn't understand. Well, how can you get there?
Yeah, if you're a hockey player or a fan, you have that picture on your wall for a lot of things. That was
Big doings.
yeah, that was big doings. That started off a lot of good things. And
It started that year. We won the cup. The people got engaged after '67 with Lundberg.
yeah.
And it's a college town, and they came in droves, and the people started coming to the games, and then they MDC, Metropolitan District Commission, built 28 rinks.
Oh, wow. So that was really the...
In 2 years, they built 28
That's
rinks for the
launch.
kids.
That's what,
because there's no place for kids to play.
Wow.
So you started to see Amonte, the Stevens, and the Kachuks, and Tommy Barrasso, and you started to see these guys come out of New England.
Yeah.
Now, I said one night on a broadcast when I was doing the game a long time ago, and I said I would just take kids from New England, just New England. I wouldn't Stanley Cup in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. They had the best. These kids came out of there, Kachuk, Bronick, Stevens. And I tell you, it was insane. It was just a ton of talent. And then Bobby Carpenter destroyed high school hockey.
Yeah. Did he ever?
He'll come up from high school hockey, get 52 goals and wash.
Yeah.
And if you said, well, we're missing something, we'll go drop down one.
Yeah.
So all the scouts started going to the high school games.
Yeah. They got Barrasso, in the fourth pick in the draft, too. It's a goalie, right?
He's a baby. He has babies.
Yeah.
They started drafting young kids, and they blossomed, and the game has changed.
Yeah, it is. So, all right, so you guys win the cup. Now you're a folk hero in Boston. All these, you pretty much get what you want anywhere you go. Only made
$7,000.
Yeah, you want to pay them. So from there, life becomes, a little different. Obviously when you win, but still.
Well, I came in and there was a Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Had won the Super Bowl, and they told him he wasn't going to play football anymore. Get out of the bar business. Bachelor's 3.
Yeah.
And I had just won Rookie of the Year, and he came in '68 and said to me, "Come down in June." And I said, "Yeah, I met him." And he says, "There's 4 guys, or number 1, but he's 2 cookies and milk." He says, and then there's Harrelson. He's 34. He's too old. The Red Sox going to trade him. Yeah. He says, "There's Tony Canigliaro. He's better looking than me, and I ain't ironing anybody like that." And he says, "Guess what? Then there's you. You're it." So I'll give you. He gave me triple what I was making salary-wise.
Yeah.
Bought me a brand new Lincoln and a power of the pen, and I just learned how to pick up the tab.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah,
and that was a big mistake.
Then you had another bar too, right?
Well, we had 3 Bachelor's 3, and then I went and I started Daisy Buchanan's. Okay. Yeah, Harry Sindley got very upset at me getting in the bar business by myself, and not Joe Cimino and Jimmy McDonough. They were my partners, but then we built 4 others: Scott's, Gatsby's, Zelda's, and I was in a bar every day. Go to practice, Kevin. You get 10:30. Get out 11:30. All right, you drift over for lunch somewhere, and you slide into the bar, and you're sipping beer until 4 or 5. It's happy hour. You double up, and boom, boom. Next thing you know, you've had 12 beer and 3-4 shots, and then the day's coming to a close, and you're going, "What happened?"
Yeah.
And I never drank until I turned pro.
And you flew, right? I
was afraid to fly. Yeah. I used that as an excuse.
Okay.
Like the tambourine man. His dog died. He still grieves. 20 years later. Yeah. You use any excuse possible to for your drug and your drinking and your craziness. Any excuse will work.
So from there, so now you got all this stuff going on off the ice. Obviously, Harry's probably not.
That's the setup. Harry thinks I'm nuts.
Yeah.
And he's my boss, and I loved him. And he was a coach, and then GM. And then in Philadelphia, I left.
Yeah.
The Blazers.
I won 2 Stanley Cups,
Yeah.
and then I get an offer. Mackenzie says, "Hey, listen, I listened to him. Go listen to him."
Yeah.
And Johnny Mackenzie was my roommate.
Yeah.
And he says, "Go listen to him." And the guy says, "I'm here to offer you $2,300,000." And I'm fighting for like $5,000 raise for the Bruins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all at one piece.
No brainer, right? At
That's
that.
all. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I said, wow, okay. I said, I was stunned. And my partner, Joey Sabino, was there, and Jimmy McDonough, and they're going, you hit the number. And I said, I don't know. I said, when I first heard you guys, you were the Miami Screaming Eagles. And now you're the Philadelphia Blazers. There's not a lot of continuity there. Are you going to stick around? I know the National Hockey League's going nowhere.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm authorized to go as high as $2.6 million. 15 seconds, he gives me $300,000 raise, and I can't get 5 out of the Bruins.
Yeah.
And I said, wow. I said, I know what you're going to do. You'll sell the club, and they'll change it, and they'll move. I said, no, then we will not sell the club without your permission. I said, initial that. He initialed it. And I said, well, I want 2-bedroom suite in the road. I want this, I want that. And then I said at the end, and I tried to turn it down. And I went to see the owner of the Bruins, and he gave me he said, under the circumstances, we'll give you the raise. You got to love him. Great guy, Mr. Adams. Anyway, I come back and I come in downtrodden like, oh, yeah. And the guy, when they're got eager and they're saying, well, what happened? You thought the Bruins matched that silly off? No, they would never match that. I said, well, I give my dad a job. 5 years, 50,000 scout.
Wow, nice.
So my dad grabs a hook, right? And I said, my dad, he doesn't like to fly. He's afraid to fly. And St. Catherine's only 8 miles away. Yeah. He can drive back and forth, see everybody in the league.
So they're just giving you the world.
So the guy says, okay, what's that mean? I said, well, I'm afraid to fly too. You got a team in Birmingham? He said, yeah. I said, you got one in Edmonton? He said, yeah. How do you get from Birmingham, Alabama to Edmonton, Alberta? You got to stop 7 times.
Right.
Take off and land. He's horrified me. He says, he says, we appreciate you getting as many road games as you can by train.
Wow. Nice, huh?
Done. Initial that.
Yeah.
So they made it near impossible.
And it was insanity to turn down. So, yeah. But,
so then that was kind of...
well, I went to Philadelphia. I had no friends. Don't ever underestimate friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had no friends. I didn't know anybody. And I was in articles, and I was in court and doing things, and never with the team, never got to practice. I was 20 pounds overweight. I was drinking. One thing led to another, and being out of shape, I jumped out of the penalty box and slipped a disc on my back, caught a piece of paper, and doink. And I played 7 games. I'm out for the season. In Philadelphia, lost their first 22 games.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So Bernie Perrant was our goalie.
Yeah.
We had some talent. Andre Lacroix won the scoring eventually.
Was this before the Flyers?
No, that was no. But that's Broad Street Bullies. I said, "What do you guys think you're going to beat out the Broad Street?" No, forget about it. You're not going to beat Schultz and that group. No, you're not going to beat them. You notice I didn't mention Bobby Clark.
Yeah,
I hate Bobby Clark. So, Schultz and Selesky and they had Mad Dog, and they had all these tough guys.
Yeah, they did.
And you fought Bobby Clark, you ended up fighting those 4.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's nothing better than those Flyers. My dad used to take those Flyers, Bruins Saturday matinee games.
Yeah, they stayed. Well, they're a tough team, boy.
Yeah, that was tough. That was good stuff.
That was good. Yeah.
So then you leave. I guess what I was reading is.
I don't know if the money's real. My first day.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a big signing in City Hall Plaza, Park. Packed. I don't know why. And I jump in a cab, and it's raining. It started to rain out, so I jumped in a cab, and I'm going down Broad Street. And I see a big Keenan Motors, Rolls Royce. I didn't know if it was real or not.
Yeah.
I started walking in, and I got hair down to here. I got a sweatshirt on from practice. Right, I got my jeans and jean jacket and cowboy boots. Haven't shaved 3 or 4 days.
Just cool.
I said, "Hey, what's the best car you got here?" Should be that one over there. It's a British snob. Yeah. Anyway, I walk over and hey, blocked. Yes, well, it's policy. So he says one usually orders the rolls by phone. Oh, yeah. Oh, Open it up. He opens it up and said, he insulted me. I'm going to insult him back. So I get in there and I said, it's not very comfortable for $70,000. Now, $70,000, a lot of them. $80,000 was a lot of money for a car then. For $80,000. And he goes, sir, if you notice, this is a long wheelbase Silver Shadow limousine. If you'd be sitting in it, you owned it, you'd probably be sitting in the back. I thought about that. I wouldn't be driving it. Okay. So, and then I said to him, all right, this guy doesn't get the commission. I bought it that day, cash. Boy. They let the car out, and the guy laughed at me when I was leaving. I said, yeah, laugh again. I went 5 blocks, ran out of gas.
So can we pick back up?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back with hockey legend.
Myth.
No, it's
Derek
really a
Sanderson. We'll be right back on Crosscheck. Welcome back to Crosscheck Radio. My name is Andy Bernstein. On our debut podcast on video, which is kind of scary, but we're doing it. And we have a great guest. We have Derek Sanderson. So Kevin is going to pick back up, but we have to welcome our friend Alyssa Horton, recovery specialist, to the show.
I'm bowing.
Yeah.
You just can't see because I'm sitting.
No, greatness.
I'm not going to look that way, though.
Greatness has entered. Greatness has entered the room. Right?
Don't make me cackle on TV.
No cackle, please.
Don't make me
No
cackle.
cackle, please. All right, Kev, pick back up with Derek.
Yeah, so Turk, now we're making a lot of money, a lot of fame, a lot of things. Now we kind of go over that. When did you kind of realize you were going over that line?
I got in a kind of not a fight. I got in with this girl, and she goes, yeah, well, I can stop what I'm doing anytime I want. You can't.
Yeah.
That was the first time I said, yeah. And I can, eh? Yes, I can. So I went a day. Summertime. And I started getting a little jiggy around 35 hours. I had a lot of stuff in me at that time.
Yeah.
And I would say I couldn't get past 40 hours. I had a seizure, went to the hospital, had another one. The guy says, you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict. I said, oh, yeah, sure. And I move on. So I ended up at 13 detoxes, and not one of the 13 detoxes told me to go to AA, if you can believe that.
That's crazy.
Very strange once I found out, yeah. But this guy that, nobody can find the guy that I give the credit to, outside of Bobby Orr and friends, it was, one guy just made perfect sense to me. He said to me, he explained denial in a form that someone can understand, like building blocks.
Yeah.
And I said to him, Al, what's denial? I said, how old were you how old were you the first time you drank? Oh, I was 20. He says, I don't want the first time you had, the first time you get drunk with the guys. How old were you drank? I said, well, my girlfriend dumped me when I was 15. I had 3 beer. He said, don't. That first drink, no. I said, I stole 3 off my dad when I was about 9, and he said, no. And I said, well, my uncle said, you look bigger at Christmas, and I was 7. She said, you understand it now? Denial. I asked you a simple question. When was the first time you drank? You had the use of that drug. And I said, beer's not a drug. He says, what are your first impressions of it? And I said, well, it stinks. It tastes bitter. And I don't like it. And, you don't like, yeah. And he said, well, why'd you have another one? I said, I knew I loved the feeling. And it wasn't anything else to do with that. It nullified fear. And my fear was of dating, rejection, girls, going bars. People expect things of you. I'm a small town kid. I didn't know whether I was on foot or horseback. And people are saying, hey, whoa, hang with you. I'm going, holy shit. I got another one. Oops. Sorry, I was supposed to yell.
That's all right. We're going to edit. We'll
edit that. And so I said, what is this? And I'd go into Daisies, the big star in Daisies, and I'd sit at that love seat up where only two people could sit. And me and some Dolly would sit there, and I said, wow.
Dolly.
And I didn't know, well, they don't, that's Helen Gurley Brown got in since then. I mean, the women's lifting is a whole different movement. So Lonnie Anderson had her own, but we'll discuss that later.
WKRP.
Yeah. Right. So I just didn't. I realized this guy told me. He said, "Listen, if you're afraid, you have to first of all admit you're afraid, and I'm not really afraid. I don't." And I started the denial, all the defense mechanisms I used to.
Yeah.
But I wasn't afraid of women. I was afraid of being laughed at, lied to, rejected. Nobody is good at everything. I always used to hate in high school the confident kid, but he was only confident in math or science or this and all. You weren't confident in it at all, and he certainly had no dates, so what was he confident about? So you look at people and how they think, and well, I'm not worried. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about what they think of you. Be yourself. And it took a long time to get that.
Can you guys relate to what he's talking about?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, anybody sober has been through it.
Right.
Sobriety's a way of life. You have
It
to
is.
cancel out friends you hung with, people you hung with, try to get away from them. They won't come with you.
Nope.
And every detox I was in or whatever, I never got a get well card from anybody. Nobody wished me well. And it was a matter of struggle, and you take it a day at a time. And I never got that either until the guy said to me, and I remember that first day that I lasted a day, and I told the guy in detox, about 34 hours I can last, and I'm going to have DTs. And they're delirium tremors, and what I had terrible, terrible nightmares. Where does the love of God go when he turns minutes to hours? Wow. I used to see snakes in my nurse's hair, and I used to freak out.
Maggots.
They said, "We'll put you in there's a rubber room at the end of the hall." He kept on threatening me with that. But that didn't scare me. The straight jacket scared me.
It's the hug me jacket. It's
I
like
know, hug you jacket. Oh, no, I ain't going. I want to be free.
I got familiar with those.
What is a hug me jacket?
It's a straight jacket.
Yeah, they lock you in.
They put you in. Yeah, you're dangerous
That's
to
what they
yourself.
call it, a
You're a
hug me
danger to
jacket?
somebody else.
No, it's what I call it to make me feel better.
I never heard that.
That's
what I
tremendous.
like.
Right? Yeah, I come up with some
I
one-liners.
said, what can I do? And the guy said, put my arm. I said, well, you got a straight jacket because I saw one of them. I would be like this. And then you're going to leave me here? Oh, no.
It's just that they're
I'm
telling
gonna
you
take
need
a
to love
headlong
yourself.
run at the wall. And he said, there's enough padding. You ain't going to hurt yourself. And close the door. No. Scream. No. Finally, they said, okay. You behave? Behave. Absolutely. So that was it.
And how long were you in treatment for?
In treatment, I was on the detox, maybe 72 hours, maybe some are not as good as others. Some kind of liked you, some didn't. You get tossed out on your own. You got no money. You got nowhere you're going to go. I'm sleeping under bridges in Central Park. I'm eating out of dumpsters. I'm trying to, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure it out. I said, I wasn't a bad, I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't, and then I said, maybe I did. And then, I don't know, God, and I got on my knees one day. And I just said, God, help me. I can't live like this anymore. Either you take me or cure me. Only two options that are available. And I ended up talking to this guy in the 13 detox. And he's made and the guy I talked to him for probably, I know him well. I mean, they asked me to, on a documentary I did, they asked me to describe him. And
He was at a hotel, right?
No. Yeah, I was at a hotel. I did the documentary. But this guy was in a place called the Hotel Dieu, which is an adjunct. You know how they put the House of God, it's called French, en français? But it's the Hotel Dieu is next to the St. Catherine's Hospital.
Oh, okay.
And they got this detox there. And no one at the hospital said that this guy existed.
Wow.
And I said, what do you mean? Now you're creeping me out. What do you mean you never exist? I talked to the man for almost 2 days. He says, no, you never did. He wasn't here.
Wow.
I never drank again. And he said, you were only here 3 days. You never drank again. I don't know why. And I don't question it. I just
Wow.
it's over my head. So
that last detox got the 13th one
Yeah.
with this guy that you supposedly talked to.
yeah, I went to my rehab. That's a little weird, but I went to rehab and it just didn't do anything. But it helped me. But basics, I guess.
Yeah.
But this guy made perfect sense to me. All of a sudden, there's no guy. But anyway, it was the key was day at a time and get on your knees. So what I did is I got on my knees every day. I grant me patience, kindness, and understanding, and guide me through the day with your will. Thank you. Boom. Go to bed at night. Thank you for the day. Boom. And that was it. Every night I did it, where I was. I used to go to work and forget, and I always was in the shower.
Yeah.
So I play shower every day. And I get in the shower, and I got on my knees, and okay, I was kind of solved the problem because I had a halfway step there. I could do that. And I forget a few times, and I would stop at 128. I don't know if people ever saw me, but I stopped at 128 and got on my knees. I was not embarrassed if anyone saw it. Anyone believed me. I didn't care. It's the only thing that got me sober.
Yeah, and like we all talk about here a lot is that, we can't do this thing alone, right?
No.
That's a lot of people try to do.
Nobody
It's
does it
impossible, right?
No.
You need good friends. You got to,
Well, I had Bobby, and
Yeah.
I had. There's a lot. It's documented well, and my mom was there. She never turned her back on me, nor did my dad. And I always had a roof over my head, but I wanted to figure this problem out myself, and I couldn't really.
Yeah.
I didn't have the tools to figure it out. I didn't have enough knowledge, and then I got my first job was to work in the city of Boston with Joe Timilty. Senator Timilty introduced me to Ray Flynn, and Ray Flynn put me in the Boston City school system in 1983, and he said, I want to know, because if a report had come out that Massachusetts was the worst state in the union for alcohol and drug abuse in high schools.
Wow.
Flynn did not believe this. But there's more schools here.
Right.
So take it easy. So I went in, and I talked to the first schools, and they were 8th graders, and these little 8th graders looking at you like, that's hard.
Right.
And then I didn't understand what to do. And then the third school came, and they had a stage. So I got on my knees behind the stage. Said, God, help me, just take over. I don't. And the lecture lasted 2 hours or so. 8th graders got a standing O. I asked all authority to leave. No teachers, no principals,
That's the way to
no
do
peeking
it.
indoors. I want you guys to ask me questions, and I'll ask you. And we had a give and take, and it was that's what it was all about. The principal said to me, "I can't do that. You got that ring on it. You lose that." I said, "Don't worry about that stuff. These kids aren't going to rob you." I said, "Look, if they want to do is
They're not going to run.
Little 8th grader.
Right?
Well, the
Jack,
other city has two problems. They have physical fear
Okay.
of their life and limb, and the wealthy in the outskirts of wherever they have those wealthy schools, they have the emotional and on top of it, the inner city kid has both and the fear of getting hurt.
Kev?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think all levels, right? Is fear is like the number one. I think you hit it right on the button. You're expected to do all the stuff, and the fear of not being there and not doing that. And I think kids too, right? These days, the fear of not being what they're supposed to be, right?
Well, they didn't. No one in the 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
First of all, you can never talk to 6th, 7th, and 8th. 6 is where they stop. That's where they stop saying trust, loyalty, respect, honesty, disrespect. That's the 6th grade. Hormones starts to read in for 7 and 8th. But hormones at 7 and 8 aren't like 9 and 10.
Right.
9 and 10 are severed by like a cleaver. Boom. They don't talk to each other. And I'm not asking you a question. If I got a 7th grader there listening to me. So I had to do them separate. I learned that after a while, and then we had the kids separate. And it was then it started to make sense. But the kid in 9th grade didn't have his driver's license yet. Unless he was a complete dummy and held back a little, but didn't have his driver's license. So 11th and 12th, they had, one's experimenting on 9th and 10th, sometimes 8th, and now they went with it was all about relationships with each other, with girls and dating and prom and who's this and who's that. Look at the fear. Even on television, people no one will discuss fear.
No.
What fear is to Kevin, what fear is to Alyssa, is not fear to me.
Right.
And yours is different too. So the four of us that have a debate about fear, the suggested common knowledge that we are afraid of what? Well, my fear is not the same as yours.
Right.
So how can we have a discussion about a word we don't even agree on?
Yeah.
Right.
So you go into a school and you beat them with this jargon that's supposed to work. No, everybody is different. Everybody hurts for different reasons.
Right. Now, you two can relate in the sense that you both were at the peak.
Yeah, we had some fun up there, yeah.
And then you kind of both hit a spiral, but you both talk to kids, and you both how does that impact your sobriety long term?
Best thing I ever did in my life.
Okay.
Not winning the Stanley Cup, not doing anything, talk to kids. It took me, I had 12 years and 680,000 kids, maybe 700 high schools and middle schools, but everybody in hockey, I mean, Kevin was a guy that everybody really respected and loved. They never dreamed Kevin had a problem. Kevin there's an image, there's a level you get to, you have to be a certain player as an athlete. And Kevin, same as me, you people don't understand. I'm not built like that. Some people dodged it, but they couldn't handle it after they retired.
Yeah.
Their comeuppance came later.
Right.
Kevin and I are up there as whatever because it happened during.
Right.
And that was the difficult thing.
But the persona is you were able to create a persona that allowed you to.
I didn't. I just became who
I think
God wanted me to
Okay.
be. That's all.
that's all we can do. I think addiction,
Yeah.
It's going to take everything, right? Turk, it takes,
Yeah.
it takes, and takes till we stop it, right?
Yeah.
And that's,
And then it'll beat you every
Yeah.
day. I know. And you want to know something really intelligent? I used to sit sober. I mean, not sober. Dry, clean. I used to sit in my apartment, take a full bottle of Johnny Walker, and I'd sit there. I don't know. I'd watch my movie. I would make some food, and the bottle still sat there. I wake up in the morning, the bottle still sat there. I thought I had more patience than the bottle. When does the roof fall in? Every time I reach for that bottle. And me being a drunkard is just that far away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It's closer and closer the year we get further and further.
Yeah.
But I remember the guys talking about you, and I said, Jesus, the pressure that's on Kevin. It was out. It was unbelievable. It was me. I was kind of out of it at that point, and no one really cared. But Kevin was at the legitimate peak, and nobody understood. I said, "How? I should talk to him. Is there any way I could talk to him?" I tried to talk to Kevin for a while, but a road's never really path. I know we didn't bump into him, so. But I tell you what, it was a shame. I mean, you were a great player. I mean,
no, it's hard. Like we say, it's neither one of us wanted to do it and lose everything, and it's kind of stuff. But you know what? We're here, right?
Yep.
Whatever we can do to help, and whatever we can do to help people.
Yep.
That's what makes it all that much
Get
better,
people to just in schools, put it in the curriculum from kindergarten through 12. I did that with the city of Boston, right? I said my job was I was supposed to submit a report at the year's end, and I said, well, it has to go. You have to define fear, and you have to put it in kindergarten through 12. It has to be taught, alcohol and abuse. And there's no such thing as abuse.
Okay.
Abuse is addiction. There are two stages to addiction. I like it. I think I can handle it.
And I want more.
I can't.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
No one knows when you cross that road. It doesn't. Where is it?
No.
There's an invisible line. Oh, bang! You cross it. I'm good to hear, but you never go. You always test yourself. You never know.
So I have to ask you about your GQ story.
Oh my God, I want to hear this because I saw that.
What?
They said you were one of the coolest athletes of all
Oh
time.
yeah. I don't know how they figures that.
I don't know.
pretty
I'm
cool.
I'm watching you and talking to you. You're pretty cool.
Yeah, he is
So
a
I
cool guy,
imagine-
right?
But I look at the thing. I mean, 70-year-old man. What are you talking about? And they put me down on that list, and I'm the only hockey player.
pretty good.
The guy says, "Where's Bobby Orr?" And he said, "Oh, not in this one."
Not as cool as you, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Bobby's doesn't drink.
Yeah.
There's a
A
lot
lot of
us
you guys,
don't.
right? A lot of guys,
A lot
right
of
there.
it.
Yeah.
Well, people saw it happen and just said,
Yeah.
"What do I drink for?
Yeah.
No need." So a lot of people are. There's what I always talked about was there's basic stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the you're a little bit. There's a social drinker. Let's label them that. Then there's the problem drinker, and then we'll label them that. And then there's the alcoholic. And there's only 3 types of drinkers. The rest don't drink. So those 3 exist, right?
Yeah.
What makes a social drinker not a problem drinker? Well, a social drinker is about, say it's an inch of a scale. That's a social drinker. That is 8% of the drinking population. That's that guy that says, "Let's go for a beer." And he goes, has a beer, and leaves.
Doesn't even have to
Why
finish
would you Why would you leave if you? I just say to my wife. She said, "It's they go for a beer." I said, "She'd have a glass of wine and then she'd have a coffee." Why would you do that?
It doesn't make any sense.
None. Alcohol's a drug. It's a poison. It's an anesthetic. It makes us forget, and then eventually it makes you feel nothing.
And then you have a coffee.
Yeah, they have a cup.
So social drinkers are 8, right? So they're like this. And then about this is your problem. So your problem drinker starts off because he can't quit.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I used to finish everyone else's drink when they left. What did you do that for?
too.
So stupid. So
Wasteful.
yeah. Look at that. So I would go and I would, and then problem grays into black, and then you're an alcoholic. And that's about 35-40% of the population, and the rest is alcoholic. And people really don't know what constitutes an alcoholic. And there's maintenance drinkers, there's binge drinkers, there's different types of drinkers. You get the stuff from Washington. Yeah, I know it's a lot of goody two-shoe stuff, but that's for the drugs as well. But it'll all change as soon as our group is gone. And they'll change the politics, and the millennials will legalize everything, and we'll have a different world.
So
I hope they don't.
So we're going to take one more break.
Okay.
And we want to hear about the upcoming movie and what you're doing now. And we'll be right back on Crosscheck.
That might be a little controversy.
Fun.
I like that.
1, 2, 3, 4. Boston, for Boston, we sing out round the fred. For Boston, till wisdom's earth be fed. For here our waterhouse is true, and the towers on the heights reach the heavens of blue. For Boston, till the echoes ring again. For Boston, till the echoes ring again.
Welcome back to Crosscheck Radio. My name is Andy Bernstein, here with 2-time Stanley Cup champion, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Stevens.
Jeez. Pretty good.
That's a lot, right? I sound like a DJ.
well,
Hey,
both
of them-
well,
Man,
well,
man,
Both of them are
blah, blah, blah,
2-time
blah.
Stanley Cup
Yeah.
champions.
2 times. That's right. Well, I haven't got to Derek yet.
Yeah.
Alex Besanson, Abington.
No Stanley Cups.
No, but you were a
Watched
part
a lot of 'em,
But you
yeah.
were a fan.
I remember that day. I really do.
See, we got Mario right there. He's got a cup, and Derek has a cup.
I don't know what Moogie Betts is
Tell
all
you what,
about,
he could
but we
play.
have him.
Mario.
I mean, I used to tell guys in the dressing room, Mario, don't go near him. Angle him off. Don't go for a fake. Don't watch the head. Don't watch anything.
Yeah.
He's 6'5". He's got a reach on you. Just angle him off. I don't care how far it is. Don't ever go for the puck. You'll own you.
He went
Nobody
for the
got
puck.
it.
A lot of people went for the puck on him.
Everybody went for the puck. Why?
And he owned all of them. That's a
Owned
pretty
them
good
all.
start. Yeah.
I was watching highlights last night.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Bobby was the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a knack to beat people, didn't they?
Anticipated your move. So I don't know.
You know what's amazing to me, Turk, like you just said, you were only out there 4 years. Then you got sober. That's you
Yeah,
went
that's
at
really
it
lucky.
pretty good for 4 years. Like I was a 20-year. Like took a long time. You know.
Well, I took a beating. I went the full boat. But I
Yeah,
tell you what,
it's good stuff.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
I just got lucky, and it was happening just I sat in the field and it was cold,
Yeah.
and I said, I just gonna lay here and die. And then boing.
Yeah.
Then I went to this
Yeah.
hotel doing it again. Nobody remembers the guy.
Yeah, it's amazing. We all can get sober. That's the thing. Like, we talk about all this addiction stuff. If you surrender and you get around the right people.
You got to get surrender. You got to surrender.
That's give up the fight, right? That's the hardest thing to do sometimes.
Who are you? Yeah, take the ego,
Yeah.
put it in your back pocket, check it at the door.
I know.
Nobody cares about your ego,
Yeah.
and they don't care about your opinion
Yeah.
of yourself. Yeah, just boink.
So you have an upcoming movie in the works.
So they say. It's only been in the works for like 9 years.
Well, isn't there? There's a documentary coming
Yes,
up
coming
next
on
week.
it.
Now, the documentary's been made by CBS, NBC Sports.
It's airing next week, isn't it?
I don't know. The National Hockey League bought it. They got the rights to
I
it.
think I saw the first week in June it was being aired.
Yeah, June 8th.
Yeah,
And there's a script reading coming up
for the movie.
for the movie.
Casey Sherman is the writer. The script's been written 5 times. I don't know how they can write it in 5 different ways, but
It's a good story. I tell you that much.
they
It's
get
good.
creative.
Yeah, they get creative.
Well,
they took 90,000 words out of your
took
last
90,000
book.
words out of
That's
that
it.
book.
That's when you
There's
know
a
you
lot
got a
to be
lot
said
going on
then.
in 4 years.
Where
you-
we have evidence?
In those 4 years, you did a lot of stuff, and they
Yeah.
took 90,000 words out of there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the rock, sex, drugs, rock and roll, guns, and lawyers. Oh no, we better not. Lawyers say no, can't have that in there. I think you could still be sued in jail for that. I see. Come on, there's got to be a statute of limitations now. Nobody around to prove it, but who knew?
So what are you doing today?
Talking
Not
with
today.
you, Andy, and
yeah,
Kev?
yeah. No, I mean today, but in
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing?
With my life? Well, it's not much. I should never tell you what. People should never retire.
Yeah, that's what you were saying before.
That is the most foolish thing. I remember I worked for the city of Boston as a job, and I used to go out and after the fact, and when I was looking for the money, I worked for an investment firm, and we used to parade around trying to get city money and about retirement funds, to manage the money. You're not ready to retire. I used to look at, 55, take the early retirement. You're 55. People live to be 90.
My father-in-law is 91, still works 7 days a week in a standby machine.
Get up and work.
What he does.
Get out and work. You cannot. I don't think. And you know something? Eventually, the medical system is going to say, "Okay, we got to put a limit on this.
Yeah.
No more health treatment when it's 75."
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the worst thing, Turk, is getting up and not really. You just get up and say, "Now what?" That's kind of.
But now you get up, and then the battle for me is to get up and, like I say, and do what. So I read and do things. I'd love to. I'd go back to talking. I should go back to the schools.
Yeah.
I should go back to. That was the happiest I ever was. 12 years doing that in the schools.
Really?
Well, without question, nothing
We
compared.
could arrange that again.
Nothing compared it, and it was and it was fun, and it was the city of Boston. It was a great place, but I realized that the cities, the school system, the educational department in this country has no clue.
Yeah.
They'd have no clue how to save our kids. And they are going down the tubes fast.
Sure.
So if you don't educate these kids, if you don't spend the money, right, that it costs. I remember when I went to the city of Boston, they said to me, they put pencil to paper and said, well, I think it's $18,400,000 at time and a half. The teachers union one. They bickered back and forth. I figured out a way to how to get $14 million to solve the problem, and the janitors union wouldn't let me do it.
And the money's there now. I mean, the money's there, but I don't know what.
Federal government says it's there, but they got some nutcakes there too. But there's a lot of money it's going to cost to stop this epidemic. It's when it's totally. Look what we did for AIDS. We turned the country on its heel. There was more things done for AIDS. When I was in the alcohol awareness, by that time I was out teaching kids, they took all the money away. The schools couldn't do anything because all the money went to AIDS.
Right.
And so I don't begrudge the age, but you should have kept the money for the alcoholism and drug addiction.
There needs to be a shift, and this really,
And it's so important. I think you're right because education and getting out there, and because when you get out there and talk to people, even people that don't want to listen. Right? So you're out there like you're hitting people maybe that don't. Yeah,
plant the seed, move on.
Yeah,
I've lost in recovery. I probably maybe maybe 12 people. Right out of the 400 or 500, these people don't get the higher power. They don't get it. They just can't. They try to do it by the rules that man lives by. No, it's a spiritual thing. You've got to. Sobriety is a way of life,
right?
And that's it. And that's what you got to do. And if you can get that and stay employed, and you got something.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Derek, how long? It's been what? 30 years.
30 years.
You've done a lot of things in sobriety. You've done a lot of great things. A lot of
Yeah, I did some school. I talked 12. Yeah, 12 years I did it.
Yeah.
But I realized after that first year that there was no money for it. So I went into private industry. I went to BFI.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my idea was that if you could get BFI to pay for this, to get the community who picks up the community's trash. I said to them, and I happened in the Normand Olivier tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm only sober, maybe a year. And I go to Normand Olivier's tournament, 2 years maybe, and there he is. I get stuck with BFI as my foursome.
Yeah.
By the fourth hole, they asked me, what are you doing, how you doing? I said, well, alcohol, drug awareness, ruin the fiber of the country. By the 12th hole, by the 10th hole, by the 12th hole, what to do? Well, if corporate America got involved, and they said by the 16th hole, they said, what would you do? I said, I don't know, it costs you about $300,000. And you could help that, but a big Airstream motorhome on the road with BFI cares and go to every school in the country.
Did they go for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I did that. I did that for 6 years.
Yeah.
And then I went to John Goldsmith, great guy, chairman. It was Tucker Anthony at the time, and he came to the investment business, and he said, "I don't stop that." And they had Tucker Anthony cares.
We need that though. That's what we need.
We need corporate America to take a business
to
come after this problem. Now you look at the trillions of dollars that these nutcases are putting on whatever. I mean, the world's going to come to an end in 12 years. Get a life. Yeah. But she's just a kid. But she doesn't understand. 12 years China's not going to do anything about this. Russia isn't either.
Right.
But United States is the only compassionate country. English-speaking countries of the world have done it before.
Right.
And they've got to get together and do it again.
And the stigma.
The stigma is terrible, but people, they still, I don't know how many people still think it's a moral weakness.
Right.
You're not a drunk because you want to. You're not gay because you want to. It is who you are. You were born that way. I was born that way because I was born with 7 years old. I was a drunk. Didn't know it. Never drank till I was 20. Again, 3 times, but I didn't like the taste, didn't like the smell, but I loved the feeling. That was it. That's all I had to do.
I can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough for coming on to join us with our...
Party.
Yeah.
No problems. I was a penguin, but I wasn't much of a penguin.
Well, you were there when they didn't wear black and gold, right?
Ooh.
Blue, maybe, right?
Blue.
I was the little powder blue penguin.
Blue, white, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you guys stole the Bruins colors. Harry City got very upset with that.
That's right.
So thank you. Hopefully we can have it back on again. And thank you to Lisa Bazanson helping drive this ship. And Martin's Restaurant. Who provided us with some great food.
Good deal.
Alyssa. And who else do we thank? Oh, Justin. Justin behind the glass.
Justin behind the glass.
Justin.
There you go, brother.
And Chris is over there too.
Hey, Chris.
And Chris. So thank you,
everybody's
everybody.
happy.
We'll be back next time, and check us out on powerforward25.com, as well as visit our Facebook page. And thank you again.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek.
My pleasure.
See you next week.